Good morning. Welcome to Sacred Awakenings. We're so excited you're here. I'm Deborah Eagle Cloud Ayers. I'm the spiritual director for our organization and our community. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for checking us out. So our platform here, our community, our organization is all about supporting that spiritual exploration we do inside of ourselves to awaken our greatest potential. And while we recognize that that work has to be done individually on the inside, when we do it in a community, we're able to see reflections, we're able to challenge each other, we're able to find alignment sometimes better, we're able to garnish that support when we need, when things get challenging, when things are hard, when we get in our own way. And so this is part of the human experience. And so on Sundays, we recognize that we've had lots of challenges all week, challenging our best selves to step forward. And we take a moment to come together here as a community to reset, remind ourselves of who we really are, and do the work to step into that place and celebrate all the blessings, all the love that we have available to us in our lives. So that's what this is all about, setting aside time for that ritual, for that ceremony with other open-hearted people to open our own hearts more. And that's what we're doing today. So we invite different speakers and musicians to join us on Sundays to explore a variety of topics. In the first few months of 2021, we're exploring the foundational topics of this organization. We're exploring our guiding principles, our beliefs, our values. We're looking at all of those things. And as a community, we're kind of solidifying what that looks like, what that feels like, what's important to us. And part of the way that you can do that is to stay after our talk today and be a part of our discussion. Now, being a part of our discussion doesn't mean you have to talk. It doesn't even mean you have to have your camera on. So we're introvert and extrovert friendly. Listening, exploring deeper, helping to process, holding space for others. All of these things are important to community involvement. So that's what our discussion after our Sunday talks is all about. And we invite different people to come in and offer us their opinions. So what you hear on a Sunday might challenge you, or it might help bring you into alignment. It might be something you agree with, it might not. That's okay. That's okay. It gives you the opportunity to understand different perspectives. And the practice of understanding something that isn't us is an extremely important practice right now in the world. As well, to understand something or to see it from a different perspective or lens gives us the opportunity to dive deeper into ourselves. So that's what having these Sunday talks is all about, to explore ourselves, to explore others, and to just give ourselves that space, that sacred circle space to dive deeper. Today we have John and Lori LeFevre Johnson joining us as our musicians, and we love bringing music in, and we love bringing different musicians in, because creative expression is just one way of connecting to the divine. So whether it's through music or performance or dance or writing, we love to celebrate all of our community members in whatever talents and skills, they have. So today we have John and Lori sharing their music with us, and I have invited Dr. Garry Smith to be our speaker today. Garry is a chiropractor, he's a naturopath, and he's a medicine man. And he has a very unique perception of a lot of spiritual topics. He's been involved in conscientiousness and spiritual growth for many, many years. And I always love talking with Garry because while we usually line up in the way that we believe things, we have very different perceptions and understandings of how we get there. So I love listening to Garry because he really just offers me something new to chew on. So I'm certain he's going to bring some really interesting ways to see and think about our topic today. And our topic today is the power of intention and transformation. The power of intention and transformation. So looking forward to hearing what Garry can share with us on that today and diving a little bit deeper into that. That's one of our, sacred awakening values, core beliefs, and understanding that power. So we're going to explore that together as a group. Please consider staying for the discussion afterward and being a part of how our community grows. We welcome you at any time that you can join us. Thank you. Let's enjoy our gathering together. Thank you. Thank you for that music. Thank you for helping us connect. So as we continue to move into our core, connect with our breath, let's set the intention for our community today, for this sacred circle that we create together. As we come here together, we are creating a collective divine heartbeat. We affirm truth and peace abide right here with us. We gather in this circle to remember and to recognize the divine mystery within. In this sacred circle, all together, we honor the awakening of each spirit that's here with us.
Let us pray. Mother, Father, Grandmother, Grandfather of the open, endless sky, your names are whole and complete. I invite your totality, knowing that your will is done, on and above the earth. Feed me today, and give to me even when I fail to live up to my values. Help me to let others live their lives and express their values without interference from me. Keep me from being tempted to hurt myself and others, mostly by errors in my thinking. Prove to me my original integrity. Your way is peaceful, joyful, and glorious, now and forever. Aho.
change the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that change the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light, brighten someone's darkest night. So much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that change the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that change the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Good morning. Welcome to Secret Awakenings. And since the first of the year, we've been exploring the principles of sacred living. And in keeping with that topic today is power of intention and transformation. Now, I like to define terms as we talk about things like this. And Webster says the definition of intention is purpose, end, design, or import. I particularly like purpose as far as one of the definitions of intention. And Webster's says that this definition is objective, resolution, intention, or aim. And as we discuss this, I'm going to put intention on hold for a little bit as we discuss transformation first. Webster defines transformation as change, the appearance, the form, or condition. It also means to convert. Now, essentially transformation is change, but it just sounds grander. Now, does that set up grand expectations? What are expectations of transformation? Is it grander? My experience says most transformation is more subtle than grand. Firewalking, for example, for years I've done a number of firework workshops, and while that can be dramatic as far as the workshop itself, it's been my experience that the transformation is something I realized 6 months later when I kind of reflect and look back on changes I've made. It's really fairly subtle. And so, well, like I said, it can be dramatic. For me, it's always been a kind of a subtle, gradual look back to realize how things have changed and transformed for me. Now, transformation can be quite dramatic. Take, for example, Daniel Brinkley in his 1994 book, Saved by the Light. And he tells a story about being struck by lightning at the age of 25, in which he had a near-death experience. And this near-death experience revealed to him his effect on people. Now, was a workshop, a conference years ago, where Daniel spoke about this topic and how he said that he was a bully. He was not a good person. And in his near-death state, He was given a full life review, and he was able to see the effect he had on the things he did and said to other people, his actions. He actually experienced it as the person experienced it. And so it was a very transforming experience. But it took him 2 years to recover, to learn how to walk, to feed himself. He couldn't see because his eyes were burnt. He had to wear welder's glasses for 2 years. The light just hurt his eyes. So it was a dramatic transformation. It was a grand transformation. But for 2 years, he couldn't get his life together. And all these revelations actually were mind-boggling to him. So out of this whole experience, he did gain psychic ability, empathic ability, to especially work with people that are terminally ill. And he spent a number of years working in hospice situations with terminally ill people. So a very transformative situation. He has, since his first near-death experience, he's had 3 others. 2 from open heart surgeries and 1 from brain surgery. But nonetheless, it was a powerful, transformative experience and quite dramatic. And when it hits you all at once, sometimes you can't always make heads or tails of where you're at with it. But for the most part, most of your transformation is generally subtle, sublime. And it's been said for years and years, I've heard the saying, the only constant in the universe is change. So if we're constantly changing, transforming, evolving, the me that started this little talk is now a different me. I've been affected by your thoughts and ideas, even by changes in my thoughts and ideas, even as I've been speaking. So change is happening regardless. How are we going to handle this? Oftentimes, the refrain is, we want change, we want it now. Or our expectation is to change the external factors of our life, things outside of ourselves. I'll be happy when something else changes. My wife, my kids, when they change, I'll be happy. I'll be happier when I lose 20 pounds, or I see the doctor, or take a new vitamin. Things outside of ourselves to change. But that's being a victim. We're waiting for something outside of ourselves to change. It may never change. Well, it will, but in the direction you want it to? Unlikely. So, can we direct changes? My answer is yeah, we can direct changes. How can we direct the changes? It's through inner balance and harmony. There's an old Buddhist saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So the appearance of change is really subtle. Is there change? Definitely. But the appearance of change is very subtle. So inner harmony and balance, most of our suffering, in my observation of life, comes from our misunderstanding ourselves and how we fit into life. So if we misunderstand something, we can come to new understandings through spiritual growth and learning, by examining our lives. It's self-examination. But most of the time, people are trying to live some arbitrary right way, a way that religion or society tells them is the right way, instead of trying to find their own truth, their own purpose, their own happiness. Gandhi said, truth has a majority of 1, which is, in my opinion, a great wisdom, that we have to have our truth to feel fulfilled. And sometimes we can get people to agree that our truth is profound and wonderful, and sometimes we can't. But we always have to hold our truth to be ours. This is our inner harmony. This is our inner balance. So we direct change with our intention. It sets the course of action. It's the ceremony of transformation. So intention is purpose. So what's the purpose of sacred awakenings? Well, that's something we're examining right now, exploring as a community right now, and it's a work in progress. But an example is we want to share ideas about our spirituality, examine new ideas in fellowship. We want to build our community and thereby expand discussions of sacred living. So we have different intentions for different situations, and it's oftentimes a work in progress. So there's intention as in setting an objective. Now, I personally use this, and I think this is why my friend Deb has kind of assigned this little topic to me, because I use intention every day in the course of my chiropractic practice. I use an energy medicine technique which involves muscle testing. So with muscle testing, we'll take a strong muscle, I'll press on it nice and strong, but then I'll place my hand on the rib cage, representing the liver, and all of a sudden the muscle weakens. Now I can strengthen it by tapping on 3 spots on the spine, and it brings it back into communication, more balanced communication. So now if I did acupuncture, I could use a needle and do a similar thing. But what we're doing is reestablishing flow of information, communication, balance within that organ. So it's really an eyes open technique. It's a kind of an eyes open trance, because I'm talking to the subconscious. And so my subconscious is communicating with the patient's subconscious through the muscle test. And we agree that the muscle test and the various reflexes are meaningful. And when they're out of balance, they have to come into balance. And so it's a process of balancing this out. Now, when I use this on patients, I'll have patients that have 1 or 2 complaints. So that's not a big deal to work with. But then I have patients that have many complaints. So because this is a giant game of 20 questions, because I can just get yes, no responses. And so to get the information in this giant game of 20 questions, I have to narrow the scope of what the treatment session is about. So I have to set an intention for the treatment. Now, it may be for a particular symptom. It may be for the highest good. It may be for an acute process. But I have to set the intention so the body, the subconscious, narrowly answers the question, so we can get through the course with in our time frame that we need to work with it. So that's using intention as an objective. So the objective is to find out what it is we're going to be involved with and narrow the focus so my treatment is more effective. So I use intention in that way every day, and it's quite effective. I really enjoy that aspect of my treatment. It's been a valuable asset in my years of practice. So that's using intention as an objective. Several weeks ago, I mentioned a book by Dr. Larry Dosey, Healing Words, published in 1993. And in his book, he cites hundreds of studies that qualify prayer and positive thinking and good intentions as an effective medical treatment. If it was a new drug, the news media would retaliate all over the place. But although it's probably getting greater acceptance now, it's really something that still there's a resistance in traditional medicine to appreciate the power of prayer and positive thinking. But nonetheless, it's scientific evidence, and his book documents that power of intention, that power of positive input to someone's well-being has a positive effect. So it's a great book, and I think people should read it. So I was trying to drag it out, trying to find it to brush up on prior to my presentation here. But I ran across instead another book he wrote several years later, in 1997. And the book was Be Careful What You Pray For, You Just Might Get It. And in that book, he talks about the negative aspects of prayer, that prayer can be used for hexing and cursing, and it is used a lot, and quite sometimes intentionally, and sometimes quite unintentionally. So there's power in the intention of prayer, whether used purposely for good, and like I said, a lot of time unintentionally. Now, I spend most of my text hexing people or cursing people on the entrance ramps of highways. People need to learn how to merge. That always drives me crazy. So I'm guilty of hexing people in that way. But again, some of these studies, these ideas, can have a really profound effect on people. I happened to mention the book to a patient of mine who's going through some struggles. He's recently separated from his wife, going through a divorce. And I mentioned this book about the power of negative prayer, and he goes, yeah, and he belongs to a kind of a conservative Christian group, church. And he mentioned, my friends are praying for my misery until I get my head straight. So it's well-intentioned prayer, but they're actually cursing him through prayer. But they feel well-intentioned because they want his marriage to be on a sound foundation. And so it's quite amazing to hear him say that. He was chagrined telling me about that. And of course, this topic reminds me of an old quote I got from the Peach section of the Blade, which probably tells you how old it is. They usually have the daily quote up the top corner. And this quote befuddled me for a while. And the quote was anonymous. It was, good done without wisdom is evil. And like I said, I kind of really had to mull that over. And then I really realized the wisdom of that. So there is a segment of the population that does pray for people to be defeated and to be punished. And sometimes the intentional prayers that are well meant have adverse effect on people. So we really have to use our intention wisely. And the answer to this negative prayer and protection from negative prayer is that inner balance and harmony. Now, in his book, Dr. Dosey reports this story by Richard Wilhelm, a sinologist, which studies Chinese culture. And I do want to read part of this to you. So he was in a remote village in China, and this village was suffering from drought for quite a long time. And the villagers are all praying for rain. They're doing all kinds of prayers and sacrifices and just not getting anywhere. And so they resort on calling this well-known rainmaker to their village. So this guy shows up and he sniffs the air and makes a face and goes, I want a cottage away from town and I don't want to be bothered, and you can bring me food and leave it at the door. So 3 days go past and nobody sees the rainmaker. And they wake up one morning and there's a downpour of rain and snow mix, which was kind of unusual for that time of year. Dr. Wilhelm said, I need to read this part. He was so greatly impressed, he approached the old man, who was now out of seclusion. And he says, so you can make it rain? He inquired. Of course not, the old man scoffed. But there was this most persistent drought till it came, that Wilhelm objected, and then with 3 days it rains. Oh, he said, that was something quite different. You see, I come from a region where everything is in order. It rains when it should, and is fine when it's needed, and when the people are in order and in themselves. But that was not the case with the people here. They were all out of Tao, or order. They were out of themselves. I was once infected I was infected when I arrived. So I had to be quite alone until I was once more in Tao, or harmony, and it naturally rained. The villagers the rainmaker saw were trying to beat the climate into submission when they could have been looking inside. They are essentially cursing themselves. If we pray to fix things by praying outward change, when the solution, or when the source of the problem is inside, we are engaging in negative prayer. I like that story on two counts because I've always said that when I retire and become a rainmaker, all I have to do is set up a tent someplace for 3 days and go camping, and I guarantee rain. So I like that particular story. And it really is about the power of intention, about the clarity of intention. Clarity of intention, with it, we manifest. I have this little packet, and in this packet is Vibhuti. Vibhuti is a gray, gritty ash. It's got very aromatic, it's got a wonderful smell to it, very centering for me. And this was manifested by Hindu spiritual master Sai Baba. Sai Baba passed away in 2011. He manifested many things in his life, fruits and gems and foods. When asked about it, he said, "You just have to be clear on what you want." I've seen videos of Sai Baba generating the beauty, standing and just dribbling out this ash as gifts to his followers. Now, I saw a magician in Vegas materialize a bowling ball out of his shoe, but I'm pretty sure that was a trick. But this is truly a sacred ash. This is a very centering. Like I said, I can't really believe how aromatic it is after a very long time. I've had it for probably 15 years. And it's about the clarity of intention we manifest. The power of Jesus in the loaves and fishes, walking on the water, healing the lame, the blind, the lepers. It's all about the clarity of intention. Now, it does really make miracles. And, you know, in my practice, I really wish I had a magic wand that could wave everybody's problems away. But then I go back to Jesus, and Jesus had 12 disciples. And one betrayed him, one denied him, and one doubted him. He could have healed them, but it wasn't really his path to. He recognized the betrayal before it happened, denial before it happened, the doubt before it happened. So there's a part of life that we can't change, as it appears. I believe that to be true. I think there's a certain amount of a divine plan for many of us, for most of us, for all of us. Not sure what percentage, but we have to content that sometimes things are going to be just as they're going to be. But with clarity, the clarity of intention, the clarity of our thoughts, hearts, and minds can create miracles. Well, thinking about this topic, thinking about clarity, I thought about purity and how it's used in the Bible and how it reflects chasteness. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe they misinterpret that. Maybe purity should have been interpreted as clarity. Chasteness is, again, when it comes to vibrations of thoughts, it's higher than your baser thoughts. So it's good to have chaste thoughts. It's of a higher order of thoughts and feelings and vibrations. But I think that that as it's interpreted as a chastity, a chasteness, that it is potential for a great deal of guilt by people because it's a hard goal to achieve for a lot of people. And so it creates a lot of guilt, which I don't think contributes to spiritual growth. So I really think it was probably in my opinion, an interpretation that really meant to be more like clarity. Purity is clarity rather than chasteness. I may be wrong, but I wanted to ponder that thought with you. So when setting your intention, the greater clarity you use, the more powerful the possible outcome of your transformation. So you want to ask, what do I clearly intend here, now? What do I intend clearly to accomplish? Again, this is where having a good idea of definition of words, like the ideas. So when asking for a healing, what does that mean? Now, for me, I define healing as a lifting of consciousness. Cure is getting rid of symptom. So we can have a healing, a lifting of consciousness without a cure. We can have a cure without a lifting of consciousness. You got a headache, take an aspirin, that'll cure your headache to some degree. So it's best to have a cure with a healing, conscious lifting of consciousness. That's the ideal. But again, we have to have clarity. Are we asking for physical healing, emotional healing, or spiritual healing? We can ask for all of it, but we have to be clear, as clearly as we can, to increase the power of possible outcome. Clarity of intention increases the likelihood of more powerful transformation. Make clear those thoughts and ideas to manifest a greater balance and harmony, inner harmony within your life. It's improving the inner self to transform the outer self, the outer world. So the more harmonious we come to be with ourselves and the world, the greater control we have over our transformation. So join me now to close your eyes and taking a deep breath and holding it briefly. As we join together through the breath of life, and taking a few moments and contemplating the ideas of intention and transformation. Intentional transformation by developing clarity of our hearts and minds. What is it we want to achieve? What is it we want to bring into our lives? What's our goal in setting this intention, this idea forth into the universe? Just breathing and relaxing into that idea. Knowing that thoughts are things, words are powerful, ideas are powerful. What ideas are we projecting for ourselves and for others? Are we projecting our love, our commonality, our inner harmony, our inner peace? Breathing deeply, becoming aware of what we intend. What do you intend? What is your purpose? What is your truth? What is your goal? How do you wish to guide your transformation into greater awareness, greater knowing of yourself in the world around you? And how do you fit into the world? We become clearly more aware of our own truth, our own genuine self, that which is in alignment with the harmony of life. Setting into intentions of growing in harmony, in oneness, and in the divine presence of sacred living. Thank you.
I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me.
So, as we bring our intentions for our parting blessing, hold in our hearts and our minds with clarity those intentions of healing, of love, of growth, of understanding. We carry this out into our daily life. We see with greater clarity, with our hearts and minds. We find opportunities of joy and of sharing and of peace, in harmony, both internal and external, bringing our internal harmony out into the world, our inner awareness, bringing that, expressing that in our daily activities. Thank you, thank you, Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, Garry. Thank you for sharing your wisdom through your special lens. Thank you for giving us so much to digest, to explore together. And thank you for that blessing. Please stay for the discussion if you're available. If you're not, consider joining us again next week and check out our new website, sacredawakenings.org. sacredawakenings.org/donate is a place that you could offer a little love, offer a little donation. If you feel that this platform and this community and what we offer is of value to our culture, to our society right now, then we ask that you consider giving us an energy exchange to keep this programming going. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate the consideration, and we appreciate the offering. May every day bring sacred awakenings for you.
Sing along with us if you like. You know this one. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I invite each and every one to stay for our discussion. If you need to right now, take a quick break. We'll take a few moments. Get up, stretch your legs, go refresh your coffee or tea, run to the bathroom if you need to. In just a few moments, we'll go ahead and get a discussion going. We will take the opportunity to give comments, feedback, questions to Dr. Garry Smith, and to continue a discussion among all of us about anything that comes up. So as always, we keep the intention set very clear for this space, and that is in the highest good of all, in the highest divine good of the Sacred Awakening Circle. May we all share from our hearts. If you need to take a break, go ahead, and we will get started in a moment. Thank you.